What's up guys, Freezy here. It's Valentine's Day and I want to do something special. Since we recently got 2 new Blue Archive ASMR, now it's a good time to do a short review and rate all the Blue Archive and Azurlane ASMRs. There are 12 titles in total, and some of them are very good. I am a long-time ASMR enjoyer, having bought over 50 of them on DL site, so I'm pretty experienced with ASMRs in general, and I think it's a good time to share a little bit of love on my channel. Now before we start, there is one thing I gotta mention. Nearly all the Blue Archive and Azurlane ASMR are the role-playing type, meaning you need to understand the conversation to get the most enjoyment out of it. The Azurlane ASMRs all have English translated version, but the Blue Archive ones does not. So if you don't understand Japanese at all, I wouldn't recommend buying any Blue Archive ASMRs. With that out of the way, let's start from the worst to the best. Oh, and before we start, I'm gonna play a short voice sample from each ASMR title, so make sure to use a headphone or lower your speaker volume. I recommend watching this video with headphones. Starting with the worst of the 12 titles, Miyu ASMR is definitely the least enjoyable for me. Her voice is way too sharp and intense, making it very hard to relax when listening. The scenario is also kind of boring. Most tracks are just normal conversations with Miyu, with some ambient noises mixed in. Honestly, this title is pretty bad, and I couldn't finish listening to all the tracks after a few attempts, so I can only give it a D rating. Kinda like how she is in the game, which is quite unfortunate.
イヤホン、ヘッドホンを使ってゆったりできる場所で聞いてね。
Next one is the Unicorn ASMR. This one has the same issue as the Miyu one. Unicorn voice is just too high-pitched and intense, but the scenario is a lot better. Because there is the marriage system in Azurlane, characters are much closer than Blue Archive students. In this title, we do get quite intimate with Unicorn. Tracks include ear cleaning, bubbling sound, and some very close whispers. The quality is definitely not bad, but I myself didn't enjoy Unicorn's voice, so it receives a C rating from me. But if you like Unicorn's voice, I say this one's actually very enjoyable.
Blue Archive ASMR Chinatsu編.
Up next, we have a new one, Hot Spring Chinatsu ASMR. While Chinatsu is one of my favorite students in Blue Archive, the ASMR is kinda disappointing. The scenario is a hot spring date, with Chinatsu talking softly most of the time, with a little bit of ear cleaning and blowing. Throughout all the tracks, I can feel that Chinatsu is trying to keep a little distance to maintain that student-sensei relationship, which is a pretty big letdown for me personally. While I did have a fun time listening to it the first time, there are no standout tracks that I would listen to repeatedly, so I'm gonna give this one a C+ rating. Just a bit below average. Next, we have the Tsubaki ASMR. This one is what I consider to be an average ASMR title. Nearly all the tracks are Tsubaki talking softly with her signature sleepy voice, with some ambient noises here and there. The tracks are enjoyable. Listening to her voice for a while thus makes me feel a little bit sleepy, but there's nothing special. Again, with the Blue Archive ASMRs, there's always this feeling of distance. You never get too close with the students, which lowered my enjoyment. Overall, a very average title. Tsubaki voice is pretty nice though, so B rating for me.
Blue Archive ASMR Shun and 主演編.
Next, we got the Shun and Little Shun ASMR. This one was quite fun. One track we got both Big and Small Shun together, and the other two tracks we have Big and Small Shun solo, so you get a good mix of both. The scenario is the average ASMR setting, with soft talking and some close whispers. What makes this one stand out is Shun singing and reading. A bit unusual for ASMR, but surprisingly enjoyable. The problem is that this one is very short, it only has 3 main tracks, and the total listening time is not even 1 hour. So I can only give this one a B rating.
ご機嫌うるわしゅうございます。ご主人様。ご機嫌うるわしゅうございます。ご主人様。
Now this one might come as a surprise, but the Sirius and Dido ASMR was a slight disappointment for me. I thought having 2 maids is better than 1, turns out it wasn't. They switch between Sirius and Dido too often, and there are too much conversation between the two. The scenario is also very average. It includes massage and ear cleaning and sleeping aid. The one thing I enjoyed a lot from this title is the super close whispers from the 2 maids. But the whisper sections are too short, and it is hard to get into the mood when the 2 maids switch back and forth so much. Overall, I give this one a B+. A bit of wasted opportunity, to be honest. Would be great if it has more intimacy like the other Azurlane ASMRs. Up next is the Nonomi ASMR, the original that kickstarted the ASMR trend in Yoestar games. Nonomi's voice is very fitting for ASMR. Her soft talking with a little bit of playful tone makes it very easy to relax and have a fun time while listening. The scenario is the standard ear cleaning, massage, and some sheep counting, so pretty average, but her voice makes it very enjoyable. If you have never listened to any ASMR before and want a not so intensive title to start with, this one is a good starting point. I'm gonna rate this one A-, and we're getting into the good territory now.
Blue Archive ASMR Yuuka.
Now for the last Blue Archive ASMR. The Yuuka ASMR has the highest sales on the DL site, and it is the most unique title from the Yoestar brand. Yuuka ASMR consists of mostly working noise, like typing, and occasionally Yuuka scolds you for not working hard enough. So unlike the other ASMR where you listen to it in a relaxed setting, this one aims to simulate a working environment with Yuuka working beside you. With the long working hours in Japan, I can totally see why this one is so popular. The tracks are not very intrusive, so you can totally listen to this while working or doing a short break to relax. I listened to this one a few times when working and it is quite fun, so I'm gonna give it a solid A.
バカ、近すぎるってのよ。それくらいが常識だっての。そこで聞いてなさい。
Now we're getting into very good territory. The Hipper ASMR surprised me the most because Hipper is one of my least favorite ships in the game, and I ended up liking her after listening to this title. This title has the most amount of role-playing. We go on a hot spring trip with Hipper. Since she is a classic tsundere, her attitude towards us is not so nice at the start. Her high-pitched voice was a little annoying at first, but it gets better as we progress through the tracks. During the 4th track, Hipper gets drunk and the voice actress did a fantastic job. Drunken Hipper is super cute, and we got some pretty intense whispers and heavy breathing. What's unique about this title is the progression between tracks. It was kinda awkward at first, but her voice softens up as she opens up more to the commander. I enjoyed the scenario a lot by the end. If you like tsundere, this one is amazing. For me, the whispers and the heavy breathing is the highlight, so I'm gonna give this one an A+.
あとは右よ、聞こえる？左ね。Yes.
Now we're in the top 3, and my third place is the Dunkerque ASMR. This one is a sweet afternoon date with Dunkerque, a day off to relax and enjoy her sweetness. The scenario has pretty much everything you can find in an ASMR. We got air cleaning, blowing, ambient noise, soft whispering, breathing, hugging, and some bubbling noise. Highlight for this title is definitely the super close soft talking, where she calls the commander darling. Her soft breathing in the last Sleeping A track is also fantastic. Most of the tracks are up close, and her voice is just super sweet, making the entire listening experience smooth and engaging. This one is definitely one of the most enjoyable ASMR from the Yuuka brand. Dunkerque is just the perfect sweet big sister. I'll give this one S tier rating. The intensity is pretty mild, so I highly recommend it for ASMR beginners.
こちらは右です。こちらは左です。
Now for the top 2. My second place is the Ayanami ASMR. This title has a good mix of everything, plenty of tapping noise, whispers. The first few tracks do a good job of getting you relaxed and into the mood. Track 3 is the highlight of this title, where we play a date simulation game with Ayanami, and we got very intimate with her, and she does a love confession near the end. It is very sweet, and her soft whispers are amazing. There's also the Sleeping A track with soft breathing, where she clings on you while sleeping. It is a very good track for a short relaxing listening session before sleep. The overall quality for this title is just very good. It feels very faithful to the original game, so if you like Ayanami from the game, this one is definitely a must-buy. But even if you don't like her, it's still a good title nonetheless. Easy S tier rating for me, and I listened to this one many times already.
こっちは右側、そして左側。まだ状況が飲み込めていない？そう。でも安心しなさい。
Finally, we are at the top 1, and my top 1 is the AVP ASMR. This one is the most intense ASMR from the Yuuka brand by far. And it has a somewhat strange scenario. In this one, you are being dominated by AVP, and most of the tracks are just super close whispers. Her alluring voice circles around from left to right. Really feels like the voice is gonna pierce my skull, which is a pleasant feeling. The final track turns the opposite. AVP changed into the maid outfit, and now she is being dominated by Yuuka. So we got some in-game tie-ins here. It's a nice touch. The main reason I have this one as my number 1 is the length. The total listening time is almost 2 hours, and almost every track is pretty intense. The voice actress really put in a lot of effort bringing the AVP character to life, playing the seductive witch to perfection. Femdom ASMR is not uncommon, but good ones are pretty hard to find. And this title handles the intensity just right. So I highly recommend giving this one a try. The free sample has a good portion from the main track. It was a memorable and enjoyable experience for me. And that's it for this video. This one took a long time for me to make, but I'm glad I can do something fun on Valentine's Day. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.